and Madam Mbumba, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Governments, Your Excellency Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma, Founding President of the Republic of Namibia and Madam Nujoma, Your Excellency Dr. Ifike Pohamba, Second President of the Republic of Namibia, Heads of and Madam Pohamba, Heads of international and regional organizations, heads of delegation. In the interest of time, I sincerely request that I stand on the protocol established and to say, comrades, fellow Namibians, fellow mourners, under the glorious banner of freedom, solidarity, and justice, the SWAPO Party family is grieved by the loss of our leader. We are nursing the deep and overwhelming pain of losing someone who was not only closer to us, but a valued member of our party, who dedicated his entire life to the cause of our revolutionary party and to the Namibian nation. It is therefore with a heavy heart and deepest sorrow that I stand here to bid farewell and pay tribute to one of the heroes of our liberation struggle. In human history, every country is bestowed and gifted with outstanding heroes and heroines, whose lives are embodied in the national tapestry of its political, economic, and culture, as well as social and economic life. Namibia, too, is blessed with outstanding leaders, revolutionaries, and iconic giants who have made great contribution to the birth and the growth of our country. Our departed President, Comrade Dr. Godfrey Geingob, is one of those heroes. And it was not by mistake when the SWAPO Party deployed Comrade Geingob to the government and to the Namibian nation. And he did not let the party down. And this is demonstrated by the way the nation and the world is mourning him. From 1962, when he joined SWAPO, up to 4th February 2024, when the entire Namibian nation woke up to the devastating news of his pass, it marked a period of 64 years of solid and total commitment and dedication to the just cause of our genuine freedom and independence, and to the building of a united, peaceful, and inclusive Namibia. He was a leader born into a generation that fearlessly sacrificed for a free and independent Namibia. The SWAPO Party and our country has lost a revolutionary, a visionary, a towering hero. He was a divine gift bestowed upon Namibia and its people. Building on the foundation led by Comrade Dr. Sam Shafishuna Nujoma, the founding president and the father of Namibian nation, and Comrade Ifike Pohamba, our second president, Comrade Geingob, focused on Namibia's social progress and economic emancipation. He championed unity of purpose and action among all Namibians. He strived for inclusive economic prosperity for all our people. His name will definitely remain engraved in the annals of the history of our country and, of course, that of SWAPO Party. Our departed President's contribution to the development and the growth of Namibia as a modern constitutional democracy leaves a visible permanent mark. He did not only contribute to the crafting of the democratic constitution of Namibia that he chaired, but also strive to promote its full application in all the areas of governance during his tenure of office as the first Prime Minister and the third President of the Republic of Namibia, the land of the brave. As Prime Minister, he championed the unification, modernization, and cultivation of a high-performance culture in the Namibian public service. His commitment and dedication to good governance is reflected in both the political and administrative architecture of our nation today. The direct access to his office by all citizens of our country through open and transparent engagement was immensely promoted, while the political and administration interface between the political principal and administrator was reinforced during his tenure of office. He was indeed a people's president, and that's why as a country for the past 3 weeks we have been all in mourning, and memorial service were held even under a tree deep in the rural areas of our country. The nation mourning its leader, the nation mourning its loved one. During his presidency, Comrade Dr. Geingob has initiated the Harambee Prosperity Plan, a comprehensive policy tool which is aimed at addressing the socio-economic development challenges facing the country and, of course, to faster tracking the attainment of the goals enumerated in our long-term vision 2030. The 4 pillars in the Harambee Prosperity Plan, namely effective governance, economic advancement, social progression, infrastructure development, and international cooperation, represents his pioneering goal to bring about an inclusive prosperity for all Namibians. On the international front, our departed President leaves a legacy of a true champion of world peace and security, as well as equal sharing of prosperity among all nations of the world. His voice was vocal at various international fora, particularly the SADC, the African Union, the United Nations, and many others, for the promotion of multilateralism and equality among nations. The world was waiting with expectation for him, with his German counterpart present here today, to chair the UN Summit for the Future this year. Unfortunately, we will miss him. And the presence of many international guests here or mourners is a clear testimony that the world will miss him, particularly during the UN Summit for the Future. Fellow mourners, dear comrades, with the passing of our President, we will miss him, his parental caring, and unifying character. His absence leaves a gap in our midst. As SWAPO and as members of the entire Namibian House, of course, one of his ventures that he deeply upheld and promoted when he was alive was unity of purpose and action among all the people of Namibia. At the party level, Comrade Geingob advocated for the organic unit of the entire SWAPO party leadership and the rank and the file. We will embrace and continue to promote his legacy in order to ensure that SWAPO party remains a part of choice and a true political home for all Namibians. As we mourn his passing, let us rededicate ourselves and continue to emulate his exemplary deeds in the second phase of the struggle for economic independence. It is our belief that Comrade Geingob has joined others, gallant sons and daughters of our land who have preceded him. May the revolutionary spirit of Comrade Geingob endure and many of our honors, and may we honor him by building a prosperous Namibia where generations will live in unity, peace, and harmony. Comrade Geingob has also invested a Namibian house that is united, peaceful, and inclusive. Let the current and the future generation of Namibia continue to draw inspiration from his legacy, and let us really build a Namibian house in which nobody should feel left out. Mama Monica Geingob, our third First Lady of the Republic of Namibia, the children and the entire Brood family. You have lost a husband. You have lost a father. You have lost an uncle. You have lost a grandpa. But I want to tell you, you have not lost a Namibia. You have not lost the Namibians. You have not lost the world. You have seen how many heads of state, first ladies, dignitaries who came to Casa Rosaria in the course of the 3 weeks. That's the assurance that you should have, that besides this dark cloud that befell in your house, you still have the people around you, and be hopeful. And as a family of SWAPO party, we are also there, and we will continue to say comrades when we are coming home. Therefore, at this point, allow me on behalf of SWAPO party leadership and the entire rank and file to extend our sincere heartfelt condolence on the passing of your dear husband, your dear father, and for us, our dear comrade, our beloved President, Dr. Hage Godfrey Geingob. To you, Mama Monica, the children and the family, thank you for sharing Comrade President Geingob with the nation. Taking away from the family time, this we highly appreciate, and we will always remember it. We greatly share in your loss, and we only say, may the Almighty God console and strengthen all of you or us during this difficult period of mourning. Go well, Comrade Dr. Godfrey Geingob. Go well, our beloved President, our leader. Go well, our hero. Rest in perfect and eternal peace, Comrade Godfrey Geingob. We salute thee, comrade, we salute you. We salute you, comrade, we salute you. We salute you, comrade, we salute you. We salute you forever. Thank you very much, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa. Very good. Thank you very much, Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, Vice President. I now move on to the next speaker, who is His Excellency Dr. Hifikepunye Pohamba, Second President of the Republic of Namibia, and I would like to invite His Excellency Dr. Pohamba to present his tribute. Your Excellency.
Give me the floor. Director of Ceremonies, Your Excellency, Comrade Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of our Republic, Excellency Madam Susan Ngumba, First Lady of our Republic, Excellency Comrade Netombo Nandi Ndaitwa, Vice President of our Republic, and the Lieutenant Epaphras Ndaitwa, the widow Madam Monica Geingob, former First Lady, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Excellencies, former Heads of State and Governments, Your Excellency, distinguished Heads of Delegations, fellow members, permit me to stand on the established protocol. On Sunday, February 4th, the Namibian nation woke up to the horrifying and the painful news of the passing away of our President, Dr. Godfrey Geingob. I, for one, was shocked and deeply touched by this devastating news. The news of the death of our President, a leader who is a young man influenced by the political situation in the country at the time, took a conscious decision to join his fellow Namibians abroad who were fighting to liberate his motherland. We are here today to pay our final respect to a man who served his nation with passion during the dark days of our struggle for freedom and independence. A man who would serve as the first Prime Minister in an independent Namibia, and who went on to become the third President of the Republic of Namibia. I have known the late Comrade Hage for more than 60 years now. We met for the first time at a bus stop at a railway station in Chumek in December 1962. On that day, Comrade Eriandra Matale and I were being deported to our native homeland Upon our release from imprisonment that lasted several months, we were imprisoned for being out of the country without a permission. This was after we were arrested upon our return from Tanganyika, now the United Republic of Tanzania, in 1962. Dear mourners, Comrade Geingob left the country and joined SWAPO office in the then Botswana land, now the Republic of Botswana, where he temporarily served as an assistant representative of SWAPO. During the period between 1963 and 1964, after which he left to study in the United States of America. In 1964, SWAPO Party President Comrade Dr. Semnuyoma appointed Comrade Geingob to represent the SWAPO Party while studying in the United States, and served as SWAPO Party representative at the United Nations and to the Americas. During his tenure as SWAPO Party representative at the United Nations, Comrade Geingob traveled extensively within the United States, addressing meetings, and he was, in most cases, accompanied by his fellow students such as Comrade Hidipo Hamtenya, Comrade Theo Benegurirab, and others. These efforts contributed to massively the recognition of SWAPO Party as the sole and authentic representative of the people of Namibia by the United Nations General Assembly, leading to, and that was after several years, the independence of Namibia in 1990. In 1975, Comrade Semnuyoma, the president of SWAPO Party, recommended for the appointment of Comrade Geingob to be director of the newly established United Nations Institute for Namibia. Comrade Geingob and his team were responsible for the establishing of the institution in Lusaka, Republic of Zambia. SWAPO asked the United Nations and the members of the international community to establish an institution to train the young Namibians who were taught under the Bantu education in Namibia, which was not a proper education setup. The primary functions, that is Comrade Geingob and his colleagues, was to train cadres who would take over the civil service in independent Namibia. Yes, indeed, this had happened. Today, we have the Chief Justice of this country, Peter Sibote. We have Petros Damaset, Judge President. We have Martha Imara, Prosecutor General. We have Albert Kawana, Minister of Home Affairs. We have Pendukeni Vulaitana, former Minister of Home Affairs. We have Inge Zamani Kamu, Presidential Advisor. All these 7 people I have mentioned were trained, or they went through the United Nations Institute for Namibia in Lusaka. Director of Ceremonies, Comrade Geingob, served as Director of the United Nations Institute for Namibia until 1989, when he was reassigned to lead the SWAPO party leaders back home. That included me. I was also in that group. Dear Monas, after 27 years of absence from his motherland, Comrade Geingob and many of us finally returned home on the 18th of June, 1989, under the leadership of Comrade Geingob. In the same year, Comrade Geingob was elected by the Politburo of SWAPO Party as Director of Elections to spearhead the SWAPO's election campaign in the country. Along with his team, they set up election centers all over the country and led the electoral campaign that saw the SWAPO party win the majority in 1990. On 21st November 1989, Comrade Hage was elected chairman of the Constituent Assembly, which was responsible for the formulation and drafting of the Namibian Constitution. It was a process of building mutual trust between the former warring parties. The Namibian Constitution was unanimously adopted by the Constituent Assembly on the 9th of February, 1990. On March 21st, 1990, Comrade Sam Nujoma, as new President of the Republic of Namibia, appointed Comrade Hage as the first Prime Minister. In November 2007, the Politburo nominated Comrade Hage as a candidate for the position of Vice President of SWAPO Party. At the Congress, Comrade Hage was elected the Vice President, unopposed, on 29th November 2007, after which, as second President of the Republic of Namibia, I appointed him Minister of Trade and Industry on April 2008. At the 2012 SWAPO Party Congress, Comrade Geingob was re-elected as Vice President on the 2nd December 2012. After the Congress, I appointed the Comrade Geingob Prime Minister on December 4th, making him the first Prime Minister to serve under two presidents. Comrade Geingob was the best administrator in public and government business in this country. His dedication earned him respect and admiration, not only among the SWAPO party leadership, but also among the opposition parties, rank and file. Comrade Geingob was subsequently elected the President of Namibia by an overwhelming majority on the 28th November 2014. On 21st March 2015, I handed over the symbols of power to Comrade Geingob as he was sworn in as Namibia's third president. At that time, I assured the Namibian nation that I am living in Namibia in good hands. I still believe that in Geingob, Namibia was in good hands, judging by what his administration has accomplished during the reign characterized by many challenges, such as economic downturn that affected many economies in the world, drought, and floods. And the COVID-19 pandemic. Director of ceremonies on the 18th of April 2015. The Central Committee of SWAPO Party convened a meeting in Ongwediva, where, among other things, I tendered in my resignation as a SWAPO Party president to allow the Vice President to act until the next Congress, and thereby allowing him to have a full authority to manage both affairs of state and those of the SWAPO Party. Following this development, the Central Committee organized a public meeting on the 19th of April, 2015, at the Osakati Soccer Stadium, during which I officially handed over the SWAPO Party presidential instruments of power to the SWAPO Party acting president, Comrade Geingob. Dear monarchs, the passing away of Comrade Geingob must remind us of the Peter Nanyembas, Tobias Hainyekos, and the many more freedom fighters who died fighting at the battlefront. It must remind us that the peace and the freedom that we enjoy in Namibia today was achieved. It was achieved through the bloodshed. President Geingob departed this earthly life at a time when he was still serving his country and the people as head of state and the government. as a freedom fighter, chairperson of the Constituent Assembly, minister, prime minister, president, and a political mentor to many. Comrade Geingob did indeed run a good race. His legacy should inspire us to continue to build from where he has ended, so that Namibia could continue on a positive trajectory in the fight against the challenges of economic development, unemployment, poverty eradication, and the effective provision of public services. We cannot talk about the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia without mentioning the name Hage Godfrey Geingob, because of his leading role that he played at the birth of our republic. When we were drafting the Constitution, his efforts should therefore inspire us to rededicate ourselves to the values and the ideals founded in our Constitution for the prosperity of our country and the people. Comrade Hage has left us too soon. There is a lot more that he could have done for our country and our people, should his fiscal health allow it. That notwithstanding, we recognize and value the countless contributions he has made towards the attainment of our freedom and independence, and to the social and economic development of our country. Our nation will remember him for his patriotic deeds and his contribution to the building of a new democracy after decades of subjugation and colonial brutality. Jamonas, although Comrade Hage Geingob is no longer with us, fiscally, his legacy will forever be remembered by Namibians whose lives were positively impacted by his deeds and by his wise leadership. Let us honor the legacy of Comrade Hage Geingob by reinforcing the policy of national reconciliation strengthening of our democratic institutions, maintaining peace and stability, and implementing policies that can bring about tangible improvement in the lives of all our people. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge and show my sincere appreciation and gratitude to you all, my fellow Namibian citizens, for your planning and the participation in the heartfelt memorial services for our late President Geingob. In all our regions, cities, towns, and villages, I do this from the bottom of my heart. I thank you all. May my fellow citizens, to our former First Lady, Madam Monica Geingob, the children of the entire immediate and extended family, I would like to say, we share your sorrow, your pain, and your loss. Our hearts and our prayers are with you during this difficult, dark time. We wish you solace, strength, and consolidation during this moment. May the Almighty God give you strength to carry on. May the soul of our dear departed President Geingob rest in peace forever. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. At the back of the vehicle. Yes. Same vehicle. Yeah, tell.
Excellencies, I would like first and foremost to appeal. I would like to appeal to that side there. There is too much noise there. I don't know whether you are listening. We want some order there, please. Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President, Your Excellencies, Head of State and Governments, fellow mourners, I would like to invite the Right Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Sarah Kuongera Amadila, our Prime Minister, to deliver the statement of our founding President and Father of the Namibian nation, Dr. Sam Safishuna Nujoma. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kapofi, Co-Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, and Madame Mbumba, Madame Monica Geingob, former First Lady, the children, and the entire Geingob family, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Governments, current and retired, and all leaders of delegation, all protocol observed. I will read the tribute by His Excellency Dr. Sam Nujoma, founding President and Father of the Namibian nation, on the occasion of the state funeral in honor of His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, national hero and third President of the Republic of Namibia. It goes as follows. Your Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, and Madame Mbumba, First Lady, Madame Monica Geingob, former First Lady, the children and the entire Geingob family, Your Excellency, Heads of State and Government, past and present, Your Excellency Dr. Hifike Punye Pohamba, former President, and Madame Pohamba, former First Lady, Your Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, Vice President and retired Lieutenant General Ndaitwa, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne of the British Royal Family, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other foreign dignitaries, allow me to stand by the protocol already established. We are gathered here not only to bid farewell to His Excellency Dr. Hage G. Geingob, the third President of the Republic of Namibia, but also to celebrate his heroic life and acknowledge his immense contributions to the attainment of our country's independence and nation building. The sad news of his untimely passing struck a deep and solemn note when I received a call shortly after midnight on Sunday, the 4th of February, 2024, from His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, informing me that President Geingob is no more. The last time I spoke to the late President Hage Geingob was when he called me on a day before he went for medical treatment abroad. On that occasion, I wish him a quick recovery and renewed strength to continue leading our country to greater heights of economic development and prosperity. As the nation collectively grieves this profound loss of a loving husband to his dear wife and a caring father to his children, our thoughts and prayers are with the widow, Madame Monica Geingob, former First Lady, the children, and the extended Geingob's family and clan at this difficult time. May you find solace in the knowledge that as a nation we share in your grief and join you in mourning our departed President Geingob. Fellow mourners, It is difficult to eulogize and vividly capture in words what makes a life and the essential truth of a person. However, having heard the many tributes that have been written over the past 3 weeks describing the late President Hage Geingob as a freedom fighter, a Pan-Africanist, and the chief architect of our constitution and our governance architecture, I could not agree more with such description, as it is appropriate and fits him aptly. Indeed, it has been profoundly touching to witness how the news of his untimely passing united our nation in grief and sorrow. Similarly, the outpouring of love from all over the world is a testament to President Geingob's diplomacy of multilateralism when he said, "Namibia is a child of international solidarity and therefore a friend to all and an enemy to none." Against this background, the theme of this state funeral, which reads, "Inclusivity spells harmony, exclusivity spells conflict," is befitting as the late President Hage Geingob fervently advocated for our country's unity in diversity, reflecting our unique Namibian identity as opposed to our different ethnic identities, which he weaved together in a common tapestry through his mantra of the Namibian house, in which no one should feel left out. He will thus be remembered as a unifier because he embodied a politics that was not divisive, as he understood the immense power of unity and vehemently fought against tribalism. For those of us who knew him, those who worked alongside him, and those who loved him, it is unbearable that we will not see him again. We may have lost the commanding presence of a gentle giant and a roaring lion with a heart of a lamb, as well as the heavy accented tone of a towering figure, but his spirit will live on in the countless men and women that he mentored and trained over the years. Fellow mourners, the first time I met the late President Hage Geingob was at Leopoldville, Kinshasa in the Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, when he joined us in exile in 1963 through Botswana, where he spent some time in a refugee camp before he left for the United States of America in 1964 to study at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when he was granted a scholarship. Subsequently, he obtained a BA degree in political science from Fordham University in New York in 1970 and a master's in international relations at the New School for Social Research in 1974. I appointed him as SWAPO representative at the United Nations and to the Americas when he was still a student, together with the late comrades Theo Ben Gurirab and Hidipo Hamtenya. Being a representative, he lobbied hard for the UN General Assembly's resolution 2145 of 27th of October 1966 to terminate the mandate of South Africa over Namibia and reaffirm our people's inalienable right to self-determination, freedom and independence. On my recommendation, the late President Hage Geingob was appointed director at the United Nations Institute for Namibia, UNIN, an educational body set up by the United Nations Council for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia, on 26th of August 1976 to educate Namibians for roles in an independent Namibia. In 1989, he was appointed by the SWAPO Central Committee to lead the SWAPO election campaign as director, and I handed to him the SWAPO flag during the implementation of the UN General Assembly's Resolution 435. In September 1989, after nearly 30 years in exile, when I returned to Namibia, I was received by the late President Hage Geingob in Windhoek. I recall that when I stepped down from the plane, he held high the same SWAPO flag I had handed to him on 18th June 1989 and handed it back to me. After SWAPO's historic landslide victory in the 1989 UN supervised elections, the Constituent Assembly elected Comrade Geingob as its chairman. His task was not only to conduct the proceedings, but also to build confidence between diverse parties and previously warring enemies. He showed us painstakingly that he was a skillful negotiator who was not afraid to seek for compromises for the sake of a bigger goal. Because of this, he was highly praised for his skillful handling of debates, which proved instrumental in ensuring that our country's supreme law was drafted in a record time of only 3 months and unanimously adopted on the 9th of February 1990. I then appointed Comrade Geingob as our country's first Prime Minister to oversee the restructuring of the public service that was fragmented along racial and ethnic lines, and to put up the new governance architecture of an independent Namibia. He executed his role with diligence and with dedication. I was therefore not surprised when he was elected as Vice President of SWAPO Party and eventually the 3rd President of the SWAPO Party and of the Republic of Namibia. At this juncture, allow me to applaud the Namibian people for their calmness during the mourning period and for a seamless and peaceful transition of power. This is an indication that our democracy has matured and our state is stable because we have sound processes, systems, and institutions in place as envisioned by the late President Geingob. In this regard, allow me to wholeheartedly convey good wishes to His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba for being sworn in as the 4th President of the Republic of Namibia when he filled the vacant post for the remainder of the term of office of the late President Geingob in accordance with the provisions of the Namibian Constitution. In the same vein, allow me to extend my well wishes to Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah for her appointment as the Vice President of the Republic of Namibia. Fellow mourners, in according a hero's funeral to the late President Geingob, we are giving a richly deserved recognition to a national hero and 3rd President of the Republic of Namibia as a recipient of many international awards, including the Jose Marti Order, which will be conferred on him posthumously by our Cuban friends and comrades in arms with whom we shared trenches together with the Angolan FAPLA forces until the final historic battle of Quito Cuanavale. The late President Geingob is also a recipient of Namibia's highest award when he was conferred the most ancient order of the Welwitschia Mirabilis, and thus he deservedly enters the pantheon of Namibia's heroes and heroines. We will miss his towering presence in the corridors of the UN, the AU, and the SADC headquarters and summits, as well as at State House. But let me say to the young people of our country and Africa at large that they too can make his life's work their own. The late President Geingob hails from humble beginnings, and the white minority colonial regime of South Africa thought that he will live a life of servitude because he was a child of farm laborers. However, life had a different destiny for him to endure a life of service, but not to any master other than to the struggling masses of the Namibian people, and he rose through the ranks to the highest office in the land of the brave. Looking at the scope of his accomplishments and the admiration that he so rightly earned, he has shown us that he earned his place in history through struggle and unrelenting spirit, and that is why we learned so much from him, and we can still learn from him. He taught us the importance of reason and arguments and the need to study not only those you agree with, but also those you do not agree with. As he used to say, you do not make peace with your friends, but with your enemies. In addition, he demonstrated that action and ideas are not enough, no matter how right. They must be molded into processes, systems, and institutions. Furthermore, he always demanded the best from everyone around him. In summary, he was very attentive, teachable, and a very consultative person who placed great emphasis on dialogue. Above all, being truthful was very important to him. As we bid the late President Hage Geingob a fond farewell at the end of his earthly journey, and when we have rejoined our daily routines, let us reflect on his distinguished career and what we can learn from him to ensure that the legacy he leaves behind has grown deep roots like the marula tree and good shade for future generations. On behalf of the veterans of our national liberation struggle, the Nyoma family, and indeed on my own behalf, allow me to convey our deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies to Madam Monica Geingob, the former First Lady, the children, the extended Geingob's family, and the entire nation for this profound loss. As we walk through this dark cloud hovering around our nation, may we all be granted fortitude to overcome this bereavement and be left only with the most cherished memories of our departed, beloved, late President Dr. Hage Geingob. May his legacy illuminate our path as we chart the future destiny of our country to greater economic development and prosperity. May his soul rest in eternal peace. So ends the statement of His Excellency, the Founding Father. I will now proceed to call on the Namibian Defense Force military band to give us one item as we prepare for the next item, which is the tributes by the heads of states and government and other foreign